what we're all trying to get a hold of here is, among other things, is basic accountability. You have a firm like KBR that's charged with a lot of responsibilities. One of them is to do proper grounding for this kind of electrical work. If this system, this contracting system, were working by the book, so to speak, what would happen under our existing contracting procedures if again, this is if it's working appropriately? What should happen in those circumstances where you have a KBR employee that works on a building, does electrical work, and then it isn't up to code and someone is killed or injured? What should happen in terms of a monetary or other penalty to KBR if the system's working right? Do you understand what I mean?
I think so. On this contract, Task Order 139, cost plus award fee contract, first, again, the intensive rework costs and the costs for actually doing it wrong can be declared unreasonable and not paid for the pure monetary approach. Mm-hmm. At the same time, there should have been a corrective action request issued to get the work done correctly. The second thing then is on award fee. This is an evaluation criteria. Are you doing quality work? Certainly. Doing shoddy work that results in the death of a soldier. That should pretty much eliminate award fee payment for that period. And KBR, when they bid this contract, as did all bidders on the contract, they were asked to propose a fee criteria. They proposed 1% base fee as their base profit for doing the work, and 2% to be based on the award fee criteria in the contract, which only awards outstanding performance. What has happened, I believe, is from day one of award fees, when they received award fees in the 80%, which suggests excellent performance, they were told that performance didn't matter. They were going to get in the 80% of that 2% award fee, which under a $31 billion contract is a substantial amount of money. And again, award fees communicate. And from day one, the Army communicated, you're going to get about 80 to 90% of the award fee pool, no matter what happens.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Senator Klobuchar.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Peters, in your statement you said that you refused to sign off on one piece of electrical work because you felt it was clearly unsafe. Is that right?
That's correct.
And you then said that KBR assured you that they would come back and fix it later. Is
That's
that right?
correct.
But would that then have allowed KBR to charge for your initial work and then for the work that was done to fix it?
I believe so.
So is that possible that that would mean that KBR can charge the government for work that it does that doesn't meet safety standards and then come back and charge the government again?
That's my understanding of it.
So what we have going on here is they can charge for the work that didn't meet the standards because someone like you doesn't sign off, then they charge again to repair the work that failed to meet the proper safety standards.
That's correct. They would send somebody out and pay him for the work done, and it's not a complete job done, so they have to send somebody else out at a different time to complete the job and do it again.
And do you think that's common with KBR?
All over theater.
Mr. Childs, do you agree with that? Absolutely. In a sort of a broader view of this, would be that what they're doing here is they're charging double and then they're getting bonuses for it. Would that be one way to look at it?
I believe that's correct.
Mr. Smith, you said in your testimony that the Army provided perverse incentives to KBR by providing the company with substantial fees without KBR having the required business systems and without performing quality work. Is that right?
That's correct.
And this is an example of what I'm talking about here?
That's part of the example. The first award fee boards held in around March of 2005 were at a time when KBRs, especially the business systems, were not approved, and they are a substantial part. Again, Ms. April Stevenson, the director of DCAA, when she testified before the Wartime Commission, stated that these, DCAA sent performance evaluators to these boards who pointed out the deficiencies and recommended no award, that the boards were contentious, and given that the result was 80% of the pool paid to KBR, the DCAA evaluators were ignored, as maybe were other people pointing out quality problems.
Right.
Again, and that sent the perverse message that award fee didn't seem to relate to performance.
Exactly. So the idea here was that the Army continued to provide KBR with contract bonuses regardless of whether or not it was deserving of the bonuses. So I'm just trying to figure out how this could be an incentive to provide safe, quality work on the U.S. bases in Iraq if they get the bonuses even when they don't do that.
It was there. That's the perverse incentive, that there was no incentive to do quality work under the contract to achieve bonuses that should only have been paid for exceptional performance.
Is your experience with other major contracts that you've had, does the bonus system work as it's intended? Does it reward contractors for good performance, take out the KBR incidents?
Yes. If you work, the other award fee contracts, I managed Army ammunition plants, which were under award fee contracts, and we set out what we expected from the contractor to earn award fee. If they didn't accomplish that, they did not earn award fee. They came to us, they presented what they thought they should earn. Then we had performance evaluators who, looking at the criteria, told us, and these were government people, how the contractor had performed.
And one of the differences here, I think you said, was that KBR was too big to fail and too important to be held to account, that was the culture in Iraq with KBR.
That was my impression when I was removed, and I think in testimony later, the Army has by and large said that they felt they had to make these extreme payments to KBR, or they might have left, their subcontractors might have left, they might not have performed.
What recommendations would you have for preventing large contracting firms like KBR from being held accountable? How do you make them more accountable given what we've seen here?
Again, I think it is a culture change, and I think it is senior leadership within the Army and the Department of Defense has to, make that change, and it has to flow down through the Army Contracting Command, which manages all that. Two, I think, what you're doing here and in other reports, the Army has to be honest about what happened in Iraq. Again, it's standard military procedure. You do something, you do lessons learned. And if you aren't honest about what went wrong, you're likely to repeat it again. And so you can't change the culture unless you stand up and say, we understand what went wrong, we know a lot of things went right, but some things went wrong. And our culture will be to change that. So far, what I have seen is a denial that much went wrong. And then you can't get the culture change without that understanding of the lessons learned.
Well, and I'm sure the families of those that we've lost because of this work would really like to hear that as well. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.